Alright guys, I hope you had a good weekend and a good new year as well as Christmas last week. So this is the take profit model. This is my personal take profit model as well as break even because I yield well after I implemented this model my profits just went through the roof. Like it was night and day the difference once I kind of stopped taking partials, or I only took partials at a really high risk to reward. And how I noticed when price was going to give a higher risk to reward during my trades. So this is a trade that we took just the other day in the signal group. It's on GBP AUD, and so we had a TP1 around this level here of liquidity, and you can see if we use this as our TP1 and move stop loss to break even, we would have got stopped at break even already and missed this whole push down to here, which unfortunately is what happened, which is why I'm now showing my take profit model. So instead, I wouldn't take profit at any of these TP1 levels. So firstly, I would look for any kind of valid demand zone, but on the lower time frame. Luckily, you guys don't have to do this for my trades because I will send it out in the premium analysis before my trades are taken anyway. But for example, the first demand zone that we see is like all the way down here. You can see we only have bullish candles, and it was pushed off of here. So I would use this 1 hour demand zone as my TP1, okay? Because we have clean traffic, there's nothing in the way of here. This was the TP2 of the trade that was called out, and I did take partials on a very small amount of partials here. So when do we move stop loss to break even though? Because you may think, oh, this is fine, price is pushed to the downside, but it's not. So we want to move stop to break even after a breaker structure, okay? So either we would have come down here, broke this structure. This is the only structure point, as you can see, because this is the only significant low. So we would have to come all the way down here before moving stop loss to break even, and that's a bit unreasonable. But instead, we had new structure which was made. So you see this low was made here. We did not break structure. See, we didn't break and hold below this low here. If we had broken below here, I would have moved my stop to break even, but we didn't. Instead, we had this, and I was holding on to my trade. I was fine with the retracement because I trust my trades. We came back down, and now here is when we broke structure. So you can see we made this new structure here after rejecting our entry, and then price came down and held below this new structure point. So now this is our breaker structure. So at this point is when I move my stop loss to break even. But it's also not necessarily break even. So the only other factor or variable that I implement in my break even is if there's a valid supply zone. So for example, if a new supply zone has been made, so we can see here this is a 15-minute supply zone because we have this bullish candle that gave this bearish push, then I would move my stops above this high. Now that's unlikely because I know price wouldn't really come all the way back up to here, but occasionally it does. And if it's not too far away from your entry point, so if prices only come around to this level here, and but it has broken structure, I wouldn't put my stop to break even. I would put it just above the prior high, okay? But again, you don't have to know that. I will tell you that. I'll explain my take profit model in my to my people who follow my signals and in my analysis. So don't worry about that, and I will update as the trades go on. But now you know. So we're waiting for a breaker structure before break even. Okay, then take profit model, like I said, is at the next demand zone that we have, which was this 1 hour demand zone. That was the only significant thing that could cause price to retrace. As you see here, I've marked out this 4 hour demand zone which got hit. So now this is down to you. You can choose how much you want to take off your contract. The amount that I take off on a partial is depending on how much I think price is likely to reject off of that area and go into my break even. So this 1 hour demand zone, I thought, well, it's possible that price could retrace, but I also think it will go down to this 4 hour demand zone. So I took half of my position off at the 1 hour demand zone. Sorry, I'll mark it up because it's not very clear if I just keep. So we have this 1 hour demand zone here. Um, so I took half of my position off of this 1 hour demand zone, and as you can see here, it was a good idea because we had this clean traffic, and then here we were rejecting for a bit. There was a possibility price to flip to the upside, and then I marked this 4 hour demand zone now as an even stronger chance of price flipping to the upside. So I took another half of my half position left off, right? So at this point it would be 3/4 off of my position. So I took half off at the 1 hour demand zone, and then I took, well, what would have been 25% off at the 4 hour demand zone. And then I just leave it running. Then I don't have to watch the trade. I don't have to be on TradingView. I don't have to watch my MetaTrader. I can just let it play out. It either hits my break even or it hits my full take profit. And that is the model. It seems a little bit complicated, but it's not. Again, just to quickly run through, all we're waiting for is a breaker structure. So once we get a breaker structure, which if we're selling would mean a low that breaks a prior low, right? So then we get a new lower low, and then it's confirming our bearish bias. Then we can either move stops above the prior high that we just had made, or break even, depending on how far away we are. And again, if we don't break a lower low, but price has still moved into profit, and you're thinking, oh, but should I move my stop to break even? We're deep in profit now. Surely price doesn't go all the way back up unless it's going to hit my stop loss. No, you can use this as your structure point again, like I said, and which is what happened in this example. This was our structure point because we failed to break this low here. Then we came back up. Then we finally broke this new structure. Okay, now my stop is at break even. And that is the model. Again, don't worry if it's a bit complicated for you. In the future, the whole of this year, I'm going to be producing loads of YouTube videos. I'm going to be explaining my strategy. I'm going to have a course out. I'm going to be explaining take profit models, entry models, analysis, everything. So don't worry. And again, if you're in my signal group anyway, I will be doing this for you. I will be explaining when I take my profits. And I yield like extremely high risk to reward after I started using this model, because I too was not used to getting such high risk to reward. I would think, oh my god, I'm in 2 risk to reward right now. I have to move my stop to break even. I can't risk this profit. But no, that's not the case. Like sometimes I've been in 5, like up 5 risk to reward, and I thought, I'm not gonna move my stop to break even yet, and it's come back in, and it's played out still in my favor, and I've hit like 8 risk to reward or 10 risk to reward. And again, it's night and day, the difference in your profits. So this will now be implemented in my Discord, and you guys can catch these profits too. So happy new year. Let's make some more profits this year. It's going to be really good, and I'm excited. So I'll see you guys in the next trade.